Okay, I would copy my plan because I want to remove some part to be able to, you know, let's erase this part, erase this part, this part. Okay, as you can see here, we have a pocket door, and the way that the easiest way to do the pocket door, I draw a door exactly in the center of this opening. Okay, I'm not measuring anything. I know the door should be the same size. Actually, in real life, the door is maybe 1 inch or a little bit more than that is bigger than opening. So when you close it, still part of it's inside the wall. But those details, it's not really important for us. What I would do, because I'm not making block of this door, I start with existing door. Then I start a line from midpoint to midpoint. The thickness of the door, we can go between 1 and 1.5. In this case, I'll go with 1.5. So I have to offset it on both sides 0.75. So I just type offset spacebar 0.75. Then I offset it on both sides. Then I erase this midpoint. Guys, one of you guys, your mic is on. So if you can mute your mic, it would be great. Some reason I cannot do it anymore. I used to be able, but I guess when we are using the classroom link, I cannot mute. So now I have the door size. In this case, I use rectangle. Again, I'm telling you guys the boundary. I just wanted to show you guys how you can use it. Usually the rectangle is much easier. So I draw a rectangle, and then I want to move it inside the wall. So I just type M, select the rectangle, accept the selection. See, I want this door to go all the way inside the wall. This was my guideline. I don't need it. I would delete it. Then remember, this door needs, oh, my bad. What happened? It should be like that. So this door needs a little bit gap so it can, go in and out. I offset the same door. Again, I would keep the same distance, 0.75. It looks fine, I guess. See, I put 0.75 and I offset the door. Now this would give me the gap that I needed. So there are a few parts that they're extra here. So I use trim and I select these two, accept the cutting edge. I don't need this part. I want this part to be open so my door can go in and out, and I don't need this part. And I have to erase this one. So I have, my door and the door opening. Then I select this door, and usually we put it kind of halfway. This is the symbol for pocket door. Now keep in mind, if I want to check my, for example, walls, if I go to isolate and select my wall, see what happened? Something is missing here. So it means that part of my wall is missing. See, this one is not part of the door. This is part of my wall. So how can I put it inside that layer? I just use MA spacebar. I match my existing wall with this one. So again, the cyan is one of the thickest line that we have. If you print this with an actual printer, it looks really bad. Sometimes you see just one black area here, and it's not nice. So I have no choice that while I'm keeping this inside the existing wall, I just want to change the color. Because again, the way that we are setting our AutoCAD, it would print by color. Each color has different thickness. So I select this one again. You have to select it first. Then I go to property and I change it to white. White is one of the thinnest one. And that's it. So now, see, if I go to existing, if I isolate my walls, see now there is no, there is no gap here. I see my wall continues, okay? And if I go and select my doors, see now I see all of my doors. Actually, this one is in the wrong layer. See, always, especially for exam, double check your layers. It's a really simple thing to do. You just go isolate, select one of your doors, and see, check here. It says existing door. So all of those doors, they are in the right layer. But see, I'm missing something here. So I go select it, and I put it, see, it's an existing wall, and I put it in the right layer. It's really easy to miss one layer, and it's really easy to fix it. As you can see, I did this yesterday, and I made a mistake. But always, while I'm working on drawing, especially when you put it on the layout, eventually we fix everything step by step. For exam, you have to fix all your layers, and it's really simple. So now I have all my doors in the right layer. My walls, see again, I show you guys the whole wall. I go to isolate, select this one. See, you shouldn't have any open area. Okay, see, if you have this part like that, it's wrong. Okay, my wall should be closed all around my plan, and then when I'm done, I unisolate. So the only thing was new was this door. You know how to draw the plan. We have done this door many times, this door many times. Now I want to do elevation. So for elevations, actually what I did, I just saved the picture again. I would bring it to this drawing, and I would add it to the exercise. I'm so sorry that it wasn't there. It was kind of my fault, but not really, because it is in my handout. For some reason it didn't print. So here I am asking you guys to do just this for elevation. Okay, it happens a lot. You are designing for your client. For example, you just want to do 4 elevation in one wall, or 1 or 2 elevation in each wall, in each room. So we don't need always all the elevations. Okay, so in this case, I would do elevation just for this small room. How can I do that? I would copy, okay, I open a window like that. So everything that is completely inside this would be selected. If you think,
Kiraj, hope you're recording this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank
so, see, if I copy this one, this would be just one line. It's fine with me, I understand it, but if you find it confusing, so grab this line too, so then you have, the thickness of all walls everywhere. So now I don't need this part. Okay, I can just grab this one, maybe bring it here, or you can trim it or leave it as is. It doesn't matter. Even if you leave it as is, it's not a big deal. Why? Because I'm cutting the extra part. So when I copy, if the fastest way would be before cutting anything, okay, I would copy this one 4 times. And each time I would rotate it once. This is the fastest way, I copy this one here, then I rotate it. See, select kind of middle of this one, go down, it would be 90 degrees. Then I copy again the same object, bring it here, rotate it, select the middle of this as my base point. Again, make sure your ortho is on. Then I copy this one again, bring it here, accept it, rotation, select this one. This is my center of rotation, and here goes. See, in this way, there is no, nothing to think about it. You just copy, rotate it, copy, rotate it, copy, rotate it, and you end up with all 4 directions that you need. Now I go back to the first one, and I just draw a line. where I want to do the elevation. In this case, it doesn't matter. Later on, you have your furniture, and then it kind of matter if you want to see part of it, if you don't want to see. But here, it doesn't matter. That's perfect. I use trim, and I cut everything after this part because I don't want to see them. Okay, so now I can start this elevation. Oops, what happened? So I start with, ground. I go to elevation 6, the thickest line that I have. I draw a line, kind of a little bit longer than this plan. Then I use offset. I want to make sure where is my ceiling. Okay, so I offset. The height of the room is, see, again, this is a mistake. You should have an overall for this room. 8 feet 2 plus 4, 8 feet 6. So offset 8 feet 6, accepted, and offset this one. The next thing that I would do, I use XL construction line, accepted, and because I want to do vertical, I just type V, enter. Now I can just go ahead and click on each corner of the object that I needed in this elevation. I need the window opening, I need the window frame, window frame, opening, and the end of the room. Again, there is no need, if you are in architectural firm, you had to do the wall thickness. Here, we just ignore that, we just do the interior of the wall. So now that I have this part, again, to make your life easier, go and change the layer of each of these lines. Otherwise, you are looking at many green lines and you don't know, okay, what should I do? But here it's really simple. See, I want this to be my wall. This is my wall. And yeah, those are my walls. So I would put this to, and even my ceiling, I want this to be on layer elevation 5. Then these guys are my windows. All of them, they are windows. So it makes sense if I put them in a thinner layer. Again, for now, I would put them in layer elevation 3. Later on, we print and see if we like it or not. So now, even if I'm here, even if I don't see the plan, I know what's happening. These are wall, ceiling, wall, floor. These are my windows. So what I would do here, sometimes I use trim, sometimes I use fillet. So here I use fillet R0, and because I have more than one, I would go immediately with multiple, and I just go around and get rid of those extra pieces. Now I have my room completely. So now I need to know where is my window height. Okay, where is the height of the window from the floor, and where is the height of the window opening. So I have those information here. In real life, you have it because you go on site and you measure them. You have to go measure the existing window, existing height, and you write it down. So here, see the height of the window opening is 3 feet from the floor. So see, this is the window opening from here to the floor. Okay, from here to here, this is my window opening. So 3 feet, and then the height of the window opening is 3 feet 9. I go back here, I use offset 36, accept. 36 is 3 feet. Then I press spacebar. I press spacebar to repeat offset, and this was 3 feet 9. Yes, no, 3 feet 9. Okay, so then I just offset this line here. Now, see, I have my window opening. This green line and the outline of these red lines, they are my window opening. So the easiest way is using rectangle, okay? I use rectangle and I just do it this way. You know, if you want to use offset and offset it 2-inch, this one and this one, still you will have the frame, but you have to go and cut too many pieces. See, you have to fillet this one, fillet this one. So see how many times I have to cut. That's why what I'm telling you guys, this is by experience. I did this many times and I feel this is the fastest way. So I just use rectangle and I know, see the corner of this intersection and the other corner of the intersection of these two. It is my window opening. Then see, I need the same frame all around it. So if I offset 2-inch, or even I measure here and I offset this one, see, now I have my frame. Then the only time that I use trim, I would just get rid of these two because I need this one. The rest of them, they are all guideline that I don't need. See, I can just erase this and this and I'm good. Then I need to trim. Again, sometimes in some windows you keep this line, depends on the, you know, actual window. Here I would just delete it. Again, it's not a big deal if you keep it or delete it. So now I have it. The only thing is these are in the wrong layer. If I print this, I end up with a really thick window and it's not nice. So I just match the one that I like with the rest of them. So now I have my window. What is missing? Hatch for the window, baseboard. The baseboard was 4-inch, so I just type O spacebar. 4, and I offset this one. Again, guys, I have seen you guys that using offset, you're typing the whole offset or you're typing OF. Offset is O. With one click, you are done. So now, this is a wrong layer. Green is really thick. I would select this one and I put it in white. It's elevation, I guess, 2. And now I just have to hatch the window. So I just type H spacebar. Because the last hatch that I used was this one, I have it, but just to review how can I get this, see, to change the hatch, we go here. What happened? Yeah, we go here. Look at all the hatches. The one that I need is AR, R roof. I select it. If it's the first time that you're using it, probably the angle is 0. And you know, it's not what we want. We don't want it this way. So you just go click here and you change it to 60. And sometimes you have to change the scale. For example, now I just change it to 18 to just see how it would change. And I click here and oops, I click here. When I'm done, I press spacebar to accept my hatch. Again, this is in the wrong layer. Immediately change it, okay? The other way is every time you go here and change the layer, then do the job. But for one hatch, I'm going to hatch it first. Then I select it. Then I go here and I find, because this is a symbol, I would go with the thinnest, that it's elevation 0. Okay, for now. We don't have even printer here. Oh, we have. I don't know if it's working. But when you are, tomorrow when you are here, maybe I ask you guys to print. We can see how it looks like. So this one is done. The only thing is missing, most of the time, you need a molding around the window to cover the gap between the window and the wall. So that molding, here I told you guys it's 3 inches. See, 3 inches. So I would use offset 3, accept it, and I offset this one 3 inch. Now I would like to have this one in a different color to print a little bit lighter. So I go here and I change this again, maybe to elevation 2, and that's it. So I'm done with this elevation. I move to the next one. Next one, you know what? I would put my line here. Then I trim everything after that. Then I erase everything after that. Then I move it. Okay, I would like to have them kind of aligned. So now I have this one. I have nothing here to show it, just one rectangle, but sometimes you have to show it because, for example, you want to add picture frame there, you want to decorate that wall. So even if it's an empty wall, we have to sometimes show it. So here, I'm not wasting my time. Remember, guys, it's the same room, the same floor height, the same ceiling height, the same baseboard. I would copy this part, see one side of it, accept my selection, grab the interior side of this wall, and move it all the way to interior side of my new elevation. Now I just need one line here. So I just use XL and vertical, and I just place one line there. Then I use fillet here, 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 and here. Then I use trim, and I trim this one. Then I match this with this one. Something else that sometimes I do, I don't know if it confuses you guys, I would explain it for some people that they think it's good. If it's just one wall like that, so what I would do, I would just mirror this line according to the center of this wall. I cannot do the same thing with something like that because I don't have the center. Okay, if I try to mirror this one here, the center would be here and the wall is not correct. But here it's right. If I mirror this line from the midpoint of the interior side, I would have exactly the same line. As I mentioned before, you can do something in AutoCAD in 100 different ways, and both ways is correct. So now I use trim, select this one, and I trim all of them. And that's it. Now I have everything that I needed. I move to the next elevation. So this elevation, maybe I cut it from here. Then I trim here. I trim all of it, and I erase this guy. Then I move it to here. Okay, these two exactly the same size. Everything is the same. Just here I see a window. Here I have a door. So all the, everything in these two rooms, they are the same. What I can do, I can mirror it. The reason that I mirror sometimes, if, for example, you end up with there are some times that there is a slope in the ceiling. So mirror is the safest thing because when you mirror, for sure you're gonna get it right. In this case, because it's exactly everything is level, the ceiling, the floor. If you want, you can even copy. So again, I'm showing us different way, but you have to think about every situation might be different. In this case, I don't need to mirror it. I can just select all corners, all walls, baseboard, accept the selection. The tricky part is, where is my base point? See, again, we go with interior. Interior side of this, I bring it all the way to perpendicular to interior of this one. So I would check it to make sure if I didn't make a mistake. So see, this is that. I need the opening, door opening, and the end of the room. So let's have a look at it. See, everything is perfect. So I don't need these two. I just did it to show you guys that what I did, it was okay. The only thing that I need really is the door. So I have the door opening. I need the height of the door. Where can I get that? Of course, elevation. The height of the door here, it's 7 feet. then I have 3-inch molding around it. So I go back here, I use offset 7 feet, I offset from the floor 7 feet, then I can use rectangle. Again, you can use trim or fillet, okay? You can use trim. I just want to show you guys different way to do it, but the reason that I don't like this one because now I am dealing with some lines. So if I want to do the frame, I offset this one. See, I end up with extra steps. See, I have to do that. Then I have to use fillet and close this. Okay. Oh, and for sure I have to change the layers. Okay, that's the same step, but see, this is one way to do it, but see, I'm doing extra steps compared to this one that I use those just as my guideline. I use rectangle from here to here. I have my door opening, then I just trim all of those. I put it in the right layer, elevation 3, for example. Then I use offset. The reason that I don't trim baseboard now, because when I offset that, I have to trim the baseboard, you know, after the, you know, molding. I'm just explaining many times the same thing because I hope that it make it clear for you guys that how it works. Okay, show me one interior guy. Okay. If you look at your room, you see the same thing, but I don't know if you guys really looking at anything. See here? See this, we call it molding, and the molding goes all the way to the ground, to the floor. Baseboard is just, you know, butt to that. It's just coming all the way to there. We have different size of baseboard. See here, we have a thicker baseboard, but again, the molding around the door goes all the way to the floor, the baseboard coming and attaching to that. So that's why my point is, that's why I don't trim this now, because after I offset this one 3-inch to get my molding, then it's much better if I just use trim and trim this one. So then also I don't need this part, so I just use trim and I trim this part too. Again, I prefer to have this in different color. I can use match. See, when I have layers here, I'm not going there. I just
Excuse me, Garage?
Yes.
How much was the molding for the door?
It's not standard. It depends on the situation. Here, I told you guys it's 3 inches. Okay.
Same as for the window?
Yeah. Here
okay.
I mentioned they both are 3 inches. I guess usually they are 2.5. Depends. If you go to the old houses, the fancy windows, sometimes they go even maybe 4-inch. They make it read because the ceiling is high and the molding has lots of detail. So they go with the bigger one. If you go to the rental property, because when it's narrower, it's cheaper, you might even see 2-inch, 1 3/4. They just put something to cover the mess behind it, and that's it. So it's not standard. It depends on the project. If you are designing it, so you have to choose the one that is right for your project. Here in our module, I would give it to you guys. Okay, so here it says 3-inch.
Thank you.
So now I would just match, because this is white and I want it white, so I just go with the same color. So then remember, when we have a hinge door, we have to show the symbols. If you don't show the symbols, this means that it's an opening. Okay, it's an arc. Probably, I don't know, you have seen this in some rooms that they just divide 2 rooms and then they just have an opening. Sometimes it's wider. It could be something like that, or sometimes it just as a, you know, exactly the same as a door. That's why you have to put the symbols, otherwise it's completely wrong. It's not clear what's happening there. So as a door, I have to show the hinge. How can I show the hinge? Remember, we just need a line from, see, the hinge is always, you know, I mean, the symbol for the elevation, it's always start from the center of where we have the hinge. See, this is the center of the side that I have my hinge. So I go from here to midpoint and here to here. See, it's kind of, it's like a showing where the hinge is. And this is for sure it's a wrong layer. Again, it's a symbol. I would put it in the thinnest layer that I have. It's layer 0. And also, I wanted to show it as a hidden line. It's not an actual thing. So I would select them. Again, make sure you select the layer first. Then go here and put it in. Maybe this one. I like it. This is good. Hidden 2. And it looks good. The next thing, to make sure it's clear it's a door or what type of door it is, so you have to show a handle. So the handle, we decided we go with 836. As I, double checked yesterday, it says it's between 36 to 42, I guess, or 46. So anyway, I would go for now with 36, and then if you have time, or if you are designing for your client, maybe you want to show exactly the correct handle, okay? And then how we can do that, you go find the handle that you like, okay? For example, door handle, I hope that my spelling is good. Then you go to image and see, for example, you like this one, you can kind of draw the same thing. You like this one. Even you can go to the website. Sometimes you can find an image from the front. Then you can import it to your AutoCAD. Then you can just, trace it. If you don't find exactly the same thing, so you have to just guess. You can look at the dimensions. Usually they have a size. It's door. See the door thickness, it's 1 3/4. We show it 1.5, it's fine. It doesn't say about the size of it. Package, height. Oh, probably here. No. Anyway, I'm pretty sure if we spend time, we can find information about it, but we just go. For example, I would show this doorknob, okay? So how can I do that? I imagine this is probably 2 inch by 2 inch. So I start a rectangle. So I go 2, 2. I guess it's a little bit small what I did. So I would make it bigger. So I would place it maybe here. And then it's a small. I would offset it maybe 1/2 inch. Yeah, that's better. Then I erase this one. Then I use a rectangle. Okay, I don't need this one anymore. Rectangle, something like this. So it's just a symbol, I don't kill myself to show exactly how it looks like. As long as it's kind of resemble the same thing, we will be fine. Then I add a circle, maybe like that. Then I move it maybe like this, trim. I don't want you guys to do this, okay? You just show a circle the way that I showed you guys yesterday. I just want to show you guys the options, how we can do it. And then I would match it with this one. I don't want it to be too strong. So something like that. So to show that we have a door handle. Oops. Okay, trim, and here you go. That looks fine. Okay, the last elevation, oh, it's this one. Again, we don't have anything here. That's fine. So you have to decide where you want to stand and look at that wall. I would go and stand here, okay? I would avoid going inside the opening or windows, especially if I was doing architectural one, because then I have to spend lots of time, you know, doing all the detail, unless you want to show those details. Sometimes you have to, at least as an architect. So here you go. We delete all the extras. We delete this one. Then I move this guy and I place it here. Okay, now I'm getting too close. You know, I would move it a little bit here. So now, honestly, it's exactly the same as this one. There is nothing to do. I would just copy this one, grab, see interior. Either way, you have to select and go exactly to the same side. You can go with this side and place it exactly to the same side, okay? And then I would just double check XL vertical. So I have this, and here you go. See, I would just erase this one. So I'm done with elevations. What I want to do, I want to okay, set up my drawing. How can I do that? You already have your title block, and here I hope that I have my title block. Yeah. Okay, let me just erase everything. Imagine we don't have this guy. Probably you have a viewport here. If you have it, perfect. If you don't have the viewport, how can I add a viewport? Remember, when I am in the models in layout, there is another tab called layout. When I'm in model, you don't see that tab, see? But I'm in layout. I go click on layout tab, and I go here rectangle, click on it, and just open a rectangle. Always we want this viewport to be in the right layer. Why? Because I don't want to see this line. Remember when we set up our viewport, when we set up our layers, I told you guys that I want just one layer to not be printed. I don't know if you remember or not, but if I go here, I asked you guys to make sure that your viewport has this red circle beside it. What does it mean? It means that you draw it, you can see it, you can do anything with that layer, but when it gets to printing, it won't print. And that's exactly what I wanted, okay? And I would show you guys why. So for now, you know what, I would keep it in this wrong layer to kind of prove my point. So how can I bring the drawing here? You shouldn't have all of these things. You just have one plan and 4 elevation. So you just, you know, find your plan and bring it kind of to the center of this viewport.
I'm sorry, how do you insert the rectangle?
I would explain it again. Give me a second. Okay, I did not say anything. Okay. Okay, so you have to add some information to your drawing. I guess I have it somewhere. Okay. Let me see. Oh. Okay, guys, please write this information. Oh, there is not much. All of them, the scale is a quarter. So yeah, just write that your scale on all of this viewport should be 1/4 of inch. Okay, so it's not much to write. Just scale should be 1/4. Okay, so your question was where I get that viewport? Yes? Who asked the
Yes.
question? Yeah. So if you don't see your rectangle here, you have to insert it. You go to layout. See, when you are inside the layout tab, there is a tab called layout. So you click on it, and at the left side, we have many options. Okay, one of them called rectangle. We have other option here. Remember, rectangle, polygonal, object. So I would go with rectangle, and I just draw big rectangle like that. Okay, and then now I have, remember, viewport is an opening. It's like grabbing a knife and cutting your paper, and it's a window that you can see through it, and you see what you have in your model. Okay, now I can see what I have in model. How can I modify what I want to see? You have to activate your viewport. You have two choices. Either you double click here, see the green line get thicker. Let me go a little bit closer. See, when you double click, now this line is getting thicker. I'm inside my model. See, I can pan, move, and do anything that I wanted. So I want to bring this plan in the center of this rectangle. Okay, then yeah, the other way, see, if I want to activate it, the other way is at the bottom of the screen, there is a tab called paper. When you click on paper, see, now it's activated. So how can I deactivate? Because while this is activated, I cannot do anything here. Okay, if I want to draw a line, I cannot do anything. If I zoom in and out, I'm zooming in and out inside that viewport. So when I want to do something inside the viewport, I want it to be activated. When I'm done with it, I don't want it to be activated anymore. Again, we have two choices. Either place your cursor outside of that viewport and double click. Okay, no, it's not working. I guess my computer is thinking. So as you can see, it's not working. The other option that I have at the bottom of the screen, you just click here, and now it's deactivated. So let's try the other way. Double click, activate, outside, double click, deactivate. See, activate. You realize it's activated when it's dark. It's not always green because my layer is green, it's green. But as you can see, it's really dark and thick. When I double click here, it's deactivated. So the other option is this guy here. Click on it, activate, click on it, deactivate. So first I want to activate it, find my plan, set it up in the center. The easiest way is using your pan. Press the wheel down and move your mouse around to place this in the center. Then I wanted to set it in the right scale. Always we need our drawing to be in the right scale. You cannot just leave it like that. How can I set in the right scale? At the bottom of the screen, see, there is a few options, and one of them is a box with number and one arrow. So I just click on the arrow and I find 1/4. I asked you guys to put it in 1/4 inch. So find 1/4, and here you go. See, now this is 1/4. Here you can see it says 1/4. My suggestion, always, when you set up your viewport, lock it. Okay, if you don't lock it, for sure you're gonna mess it up. Okay, even if you activate it now and do something that you want to do, go back, do something, but eventually by mistake you might click here, and with one movement of your wheel, you're gonna mess the scale. So always, when you're happy with the scale, see, I would set it up a quarter. Okay, so remember, if you don't want to see all of those, we have an option. We go to custom, and we can just go to reset and just make it as an imperial. Okay, so when we have imperial, we have less option, and it's just what we needed. So here I would go with a quarter. And remember, if the window is too big, it's too small, you can always click on the line, manage it with this handle. You know, it might be, oh, it's not what I wanted. You know, it set the scale, but you cannot see your plan. It's not a big deal. Just click on one line of your viewport, click on this, you know, handle, and then you can turn off your ortho, and you just make it the right size that you want. Okay, so that's good. I think it's nice. And then see, remember, always lock it. I forgot to lock it, so I come here, make sure it says a quarter in this case, then you lock it. The good thing about locking it is when you lock it, now if I zoom in and out, even while my viewport is activated, I cannot mess the scale. Okay, it's always stay as is. Okay, so you have a question? No, go ahead. So then I can remember, viewport is like any other object in AutoCAD. You can select move, select it, move it. You can select copy, select it, and make a copy of it. Okay, so for now I don't need a copy. I just move it to maybe here, and see, I would put it somewhere like this, and then I want to bring the elevations. So how can I do that? We need another viewport. So how can I do that? I have two options. One way, I click on layout again and bring another rectangle. Okay, then I double click, go ahead and find that elevation that I wanted here. I guess it's this one. Then I set the scale. Again, I want all of them to be a quarter inch. So I change this one to a quarter inch. See, it's not exactly where I want it. So I just pan it to center of my screen. So the other thing is, see, I see some grid that kind of is bothering me. So if you don't like it, while the viewport is activated, you press F7. Okay, F7, it brings the grid, or turn it off. Or at the bottom of the screen, you see model, beside it there is a grid. You can just turn it on and off from there. Okay, when the viewport is activated, you can turn it on and off that viewport. If I deactivate the viewport and I go and press F7, see, it would add the grid to my screen here, or I remove it. So now I have my first elevation. Okay, I can again go here, insert a new viewport, or I can just copy this one. I'm not sure if I locked this one. Let's go back and double check. So see, I forgot to lock it. Okay, so the thing is, because I want to copy this one several times, maybe I can just keep it like this for now, copy them, play with them, and lock them all at the same time. Or you can just lock it, make sure you are not messing it, and then you just copy this one, bring it down, place it where you want. And so now, because This viewport is locked. When I try to move it, I cannot modify it. So I go and unlock it, and now I can just pan. See what we did. The reason that I like the way that I'm putting everything side by side, because it's making it easy for me in the viewport to find the next elevation. Okay, so here, if I just pan, see this one, I can find the next elevation. Okay, so this is one way. Okay, I can just copy that one, unlock it, and pan to find the next one. The other option that I have, I can just keep it locked, see what I'm doing. This is the fastest way that you can do it. It might be confusing for some people, but it's really easy. See, I can copy this, okay? I'm copying this on top of itself. See, I copy this one, grab this point, and I place it on top of itself. Then I just click once on the rectangle, grab this handle, and I move, and I grab this handle and move. See what happened? Because I copied, now I have two viewports. I didn't unlock it, it's already locked. Everything is set up. Okay, if you follow these steps, you're gonna save tons of time, you know. So then what I do next, I copy this one. I mean, if you want, you can copy it somewhere else, and then, but then I have to move it several times. See, I have to go here, find the next elevation. Okay. Yeah, I have to find it, then I move it a little bit closer. You can do it this way, but I like it the other way because, you know, it's, I don't know, I find it easier when I copy it on top of it, then I move it. But if it's confusing, do it this way. You know, just copy your previous viewport, bring it out so you know you are dealing with the new port, click on it, and then grab the handle. You have to find the next elevation. And it works if you do it the way that I did it. See, I have all elevations side by side. If you do one elevation there, two elevation here, then again, you cannot do it this way. You have no choice but unlock the screen, zoom in, zoom out, find the elevation, and see how much you have to spend time. You know, you have to go find it, you have to change the scale again to 1/4 inch. And then the other thing that I really like the way that I'm doing, when I'm done, all my elevation, they are all aligned. See, if I use XL horizontal, so this one I play with it, but if you do it the way that I'm doing it, they all would be aligned. Why? Because I did all of them here aligned. So they all would end up aligned. And it's something that it's really nice when you're presenting, you want to be organized. So I go back to the here. So now I have all of elevations. I can just, you can, you know, make a little bit of space in between them to make them nicer. And that's it. That's what I wanted in this exercise. So I don't want to see this grid again. What I do, I activate it, press F7, and I deactivate it. So all of them, they're good. Now if I go and print, so I go print, preview. See what's happening now? I see these lines, and they are really confusing. Is this part of the plan, or You know, it could be a thickness of the wall, thickness of the floor. What are they really? So that's why it's really important that you have to put your viewport in right layer. If I put them in viewport, see, if I put them in right layer, so now I go and plot. See, that's exactly what I want. I just see the plan, I just see the elevation. Of course, it's not finished. We have to add dimension, we have to add information, but this is just the base for our drawing. I don't think if I want you guys to, you know, add information, if you have time, we can do some dimensions, you know, people who are advanced, because for final exam, you have to really finish everything. So it's a good exercise. You can just follow. I would put this in our the same exercise, this image. I'm so sorry that you are missing it, but you can just follow the same dimensioning style and put the dimension. The only thing that I said it's not perfect, the height of the room. So how can I put dimension? Let's go back here and close this one. So I prefer to put the dimensions inside my paper space. So to do so, I have to go to annotate and see the dimension. It says model, but I'm not in the model, I'm in layout space. So I have to go and change it to layout. Then make sure that you are using the right layer. I hope that we have a layer called layout dimension. If you don't have it, add it, you know, add a layout, layer, call it layout dimension. Here I put it red, and then you just start adding dimension. So for example, if I'm adding dimension for this plan, I would go with first linear. See, I go from inside to here, then leave a nice gap distance here. Then I go with continuous to the opening, wall thickness, wall, okay, wall thickness, window opening, and so see, this is the first layer that I need. I have all the detail. Then the next layer that I want to put, I want to show, okay, what's the size of this room? See, from here to here. So I would put it maybe here. Then I can put the next one here to here. If I want to do it really nice, I wouldn't put this one here, and I add it to the next layer. Okay, when I show the wall thickness, the room length, see, then it would be something like that. Here to here, and then this one here to here. So it could be this is the next layer. See, I show the width of this room, the thickness of the wall in between, and this size. And as you can see, sometimes double check, always check your dimension. This is wrong. It says 3 and 8, 3 and 1 and 8. The reason that sometimes this happens, if I grab the wrong point, okay, the AutoCAD measure, instead of measuring the plan inside my model space, it would measure the distance between this dimension to the next dimension. So it happens rarely, but as you can see, it happens. So I would go and measure 2 parts of the interior wall. Now it's fine. See, now it says 12 and 8. So now you can just add this layer of dimension from here to here. Again, put it in nice distance. Then I put from here to here. Then I do, maybe this time I show the wall thickness. And I go this time with continuous from here all the way to here and here. Actually, see, in this case, I would go and show that this wall thickness too. It might be a little bit confusing the way that I'm dimensioning. It's really comes with experience. You know, okay, what should I put? What should I put in the next layer? It's not a big deal as long as you add some dimensions. Okay, for our final exam, it will be fine. And then you have to get there. You know, okay, this room, which information is important, so I have to put those dimensions, or how can I put it? So do not be scared of, okay, why I'm changing this or why I'm doing this one, but eventually you get how you have to put it. So I don't expect you guys to do all the dimensions. Okay, just put some dimensions so you know how to do it. Then I'll for sure add some dimension in your elevations. The important dimensions in elevation is the height. Why? Because if I need to know where is the placement of the window from this corner, I can look at the plan. But with just looking at the plan, I cannot see what's the height of the window. Where is my base point? My baseboard. So that's why it's important to add height in your elevation. See, this is my baseboard, and if you want, you can put distance from the baseboard to the ceiling, but it's not necessary because it's nothing unless you want to calculate the paint. But what is really important is what's the total height of the room, and that information was missing here, and that's why I wasn't happy with this information. See, we need to know what's the height of the floor to the ceiling. So now, and see, I don't care if my dimension is on this blue line, it's passing that blue line. Why? Because my viewport, it won't print. So if I go and print, you see, you have to kind of ignore those viewports because it doesn't really affect your final result. See, here I don't see that line. So I don't care if my information is on top of that line, if they're passing through it. Okay, and see here, you see this line is thinner, this is thicker. So you see a little bit, you know, thickness difference in thickness that make your drawing nicer. You know, if I put everything in the same layer, it won't be that nice. So, and the other thing you can add the, again, those information, you can see it here. See, you can add the height of the window from the floor, the window opening, then the window frame, the window molding. So, see, I don't really care what is the distance between the floor to the molding. Okay, it's not important. What is important, I need to know where is my window opening. So this is the important information. See, the window opening to the floor. Then I go with continuous, and this is the whole, the height of the window. That is important. Then I can just show, okay, if you want to know what's the thickness of my molding, here you go. And if you are curious if it's exactly the same, yeah, see, here is 3 and all four side is 3. Again, this is not a realistic, you know, frame around the window, molding around the window. It's usually more complicated. I show you guys some example yesterday. See, usually it's more complicated than what you see here. This one, for example, this is a kind of old-fashioned. As I mentioned, they make it really fancy, but even the new construction one, the cheaper one, still we have different. See, even this one. So as you can see, if you are designing for your client, you have to show those details. This is not a design module. It's an AutoCAD. I just have to show you guys how to use AutoCAD, so I'm not really going to those details. It would make our exam really complicated, but I want you guys to have a look at, you know, your window in your room, your living room. See, the detail is a little bit different, but I'm not going to those details. This make it much easier to draw. So, and then the next elevation, again, it's what is important is what is my baseboard height, what is the height of the door opening, and if you really need to know what is the molding height, I mean thickness, this is 3, and I can show that it's 3 on all sides. In this case, in real life, it might be different. So do I need to show the door width? Some cases, people showing it. I don't show it here because, again, if I need to know that information, I can just look at the plan. And here I don't have it, but in real life, when you are doing a plan, you show all those information. So if I need to know what's this door width, I can go and look at that elevation. I mean, that plan. So I kind of explained everything. If you have any question, ask me now. If you don't have any question, yes?
Yeah, can I present?
Yeah. Give me a second.
Okay.
I stopped my recording